All right, we are back with game number 2 of this best of 2 sets. This is going to be the last game in the set because we don't obviously want to see these guys play anymore. We want them out of here to get on with their lives, maybe take a couple of steps outside for the first time in about 15 weeks. That might actually be probably good for me. I've been a little bit low on my vitamin D recently. In any case, we may as well start with casting this Dota 2 game between MangoGaming and 5th Band Tinker. Again, I'm going to be your caster for this one, Pythian Legume. That's me. Hello. Going to be bringing this match to you off of Dota TV, as well as twitch.tv/Pythian Legume. If you head out there or you're watching on the Twitch already, make sure that you follow the channel to see when we go live with some other Dota 2 matches. It won't just be MangoGaming and 5th Band Tinker on this one. We've got plenty of matches that we commentate on, and lots of other fun things that happen, so if you're interested in that, follow the channel. If not, then don't. In any case, I may as well talk about the draft a little bit here. Tidehunter is going to be the first pick from 5th Band Tinker. And from the last match, we remember that 5th Band Tinker, their team fights didn't really go as well as they could have planned them. So we saw a bunch of times where Faceless Void was chronoing on top of a lot of his own team. Like, he got some good ones in there, but a lot of the time, he ended up trapping his own team in with an Omnislash and a Chain Frost bouncing around, and it's really not an optimal situation. Sometimes it's very difficult for a Faceless Void just to chrono in the middle of a fight like that. You're really counting on him to get the initiation there, or at least a really good chrono to kind of split up the fight. So Tidehunter doesn't really have that problem. Like, he can run in, Ravage, and it's not going to hurt his team at all. We'll see if 5th Band Tinker are able to execute in the team fights a little bit better. Both of these teams were very even in the early game. I mean, MangoGaming were a little bit better at the last hits, but they stayed even in terms of kills, and it wasn't until the later part of the game where 5th Band Tinker were really using their buybacks in a cavalier fashion that the game started to get away from them, and MangoGaming took the 40-some minute victory. I mean, it wasn't a bad game by any means, but they were definitely on their back foot. I think they probably GG'd out a little bit too early, even though they only had, I think it was the Mirana that had buyback available. Although MangoGaming probably were just going to run in and take the base anyway. So maybe if they didn't take that fight at the Roche Pit, things would be a bit better. But in the end, MangoGaming took game number 1. And it was fairly close. For MangoGaming this time, it is going to be the Skywrath Mage and Darkseer that are picked up. And in terms of working together, the Skywrath Mage has quite a bit of mana. Well, he has mana problems at the beginning, but he does a lot of damage with that Arcane Bolt. As does the Darkseer with the Ion Shell. So they both have quite a bit of magic damage at the beginning of the game. So you definitely have to be careful of them earlier. And the Skywrath Mage, I remember he used to be at least one of the heroes that could go toe-to-toe with the Tidehunter. Not sure if that is the case anymore. I feel like it still is true. A couple of bands here, MangoGaming are going to take out the Faceless Void. That did fairly well in the last match, as well as the Lich. Although that was for their own team, so I think they believe it's a strong hero that if they can't first pick, they will just not take. They will ban out. A couple more bans out from the teams. We are definitely using the reserve time a bit more. I mean, I remember in the last game, MangoGaming, they ended up with about 2 minutes and 1 second of reserve time after the draft was completely over, and now they're down to 40 seconds for their bans. Finally, they decide on the Zeus. You know what I would really like to see? Even though it would mean that MangoGaming don't really have as many stuns, maybe they could supplement that with a carry, but Oracle and Skywrath Mage work really well together.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
So we are using more reserve time for the teams here. They are thinking very hard about their bans. Anti-Mage is going to be the ban from 5th ban Tinker, so I'm still waiting on that 5th ban Tinker. Unless that's an instruction.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Tinker has gotten a lot stronger since the 6.87 patch. More teams are able to pick him now. I mean, teams were still picking up in 6.86. I mean, I remember Cornell, their Dota team, Cornell University that is, their Dota team were very fond of picking up like a Tinker Death Prophet combo. In this game, however, it is going to be the Medusa that gets picked up for 5th ban Tinker. So that's going to move their impact to very late in the game. It takes a while for the Medusa to get farmed up, and if your farming isn't as efficient, like I would say for most Medusas at the lower levels, then it's going to be even more difficult to get that farm up. So 5th ban Tinker really needs to give this Snake Girl a good start. I mean, Mana Snake still does, or Mystic Snake they call it, still does quite a bit of damage, but I mean, Medusa still really relies on that physical damage, and it takes her a while to get started. She is very tanky and can be very difficult to bring down, especially for MangoGaming right now, which don't have the mana burner, and that was probably why the 5th ban Tinker took out the Anti-Mage to really counter that Medusa, as well as the Phantom Lancer. I mean, looking back, those two bans seem like they were definitely targeted to like counter to the Medusa. That makes sense, right? So when they pick up that Medusa, 5th ban Tinker, they really need to they need to make sure that this Medusa can have a good start. So the Bounty Hunter sort of is good for that. Like, he can put a lot of pressure on the map. He make it difficult for MangoGaming to go for those engagements in the earlier part of the game, so that Medusa can go farm up and just get the items that she needs to be effective in the later game.
10 seconds remaining.
Getting very low on the reserve time here for MangoGaming.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm still waiting on a 5th ban Tinker. It's going to be the Sven ban out for MangoGaming. That is kind of weird. Maybe they think this Medusa is going to be mid or something, and they would have to go against a Sven and a Medusa. It could be possible. 5th ban Tinker, I think they still want to make sure that this Medusa is going to do well, so they ban out the Wind Ranger that can build a Diffusal Blade. It's not great on her, but it can burn a lot of mana and also do some damage.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
So we are now in the last pickup for each team. And 5th ban Tinker go for the Viper. So this is going to be a mid lane Viper, probably against Alina. Medusa will be at bot, and Tidehunter is going to go to the off lane. Bounty Hunter will roam. Dazzle's going to keep Medusa alive. and it will be a Spectre for MangoGaming. So this is going to be late game against late game, as they're going to see which hero can outfarm who, the Spectre or the Medusa. Of course, Spectre can go for a Diffusal Blade and the Manta style to basically take all the mana off of Medusa, and also the Dispersion effects also do quite a bit to Medusa. So I think the Spectre is going to be a pretty good pick against Medusa here. It's just if that girl can stand against the rest of the onslaught that's going to come from the Radiant. That being said, we're going to get into game number 2 here, and we don't have those little notches at the top once again.
Prepare for battle.
So let's once again introduce our teams. We've got here for 5th Band Tinker playing the Medusa is going to be Trollkupya. LKS, we playing Bounty Hunter. We've got the Dazzle being handled by Soap, Viper, that flying green machine is going to be Cthulhu Sushi, and finally, the other green man is going to be Whoop playing the Tidehunter. Here for MangoGaming is going to be CJM on the Spectre, farming up a lot. We've got Lena played by Pure Play. The Darkseer going to the offlane, going to be handled by Gloomy Tofu. We've got Skywrath Mage with a nice hood, handled by Versace Python, and finally this Vengeful Spirit wearing a nice hat is going to be played by the stand-in Tropical Kid.
30 seconds to battle.
So here we are, about ready to get started. And Lena's going to step up into the river. We need to be careful here. The Medusa hasn't leveled anything just yet, and they do have to be worried about this Viper, who can start to build up his damage if they're not careful. Lena has the Light Striker where available, and all the Dire are here, so we'll see if they decide to go into it. Bounty Hunter, he's going to scout out a little bit. Now the Viper, he's going to move up. Poison Touch goes on to Lena. There's going to be the Magic Missile onto the Viper. Viper taking a lot of damage. He hasn't gotten the Corrosive Skin just yet, and that will be the first blood going the way of the Darkseer, as Lena picks up the Bounty Rune, and Tidehunter is going to get the other one. So the Viper, who is supposed to be in the mid lane, goes down for the first blood, and that's going to give Lena a bit of an advantage to start. She gets 183 gold right off the bat, and actually it's going to be a Medusa in the mid lane, and Viper's gone to bot. And Bounty Hunter is also here to try to help out Lena. Or sorry, not help out Lena. He's going to make her life a little bit difficult, as a bunch of hits from the Bounty Hunter get hit here. Light Striker not going to happen just yet. And, well, the Spectre needs to get back into the lane against the Tidehunter. The Tidehunter is going to get harassed out a little bit by the Skywrath Mage. He's actually going to be right next to him. That's really not the place that you want to be as a Skywrath Mage. And, well, there is a dagger available from the Spectre's. Skywrath is using a lot of mana for this. They could go on to it if they want to. Skywrath is on fairly low health, and Spectre decides that she doesn't want in on this at all. That's possibly a big mistake, as they could have taken down the Tidehunter if they tried. LKS could find a kill onto Versace Python. Versace Python moves up perhaps a little bit too far. As Bounty Hunter, he's got the move speed, but it's 325 move speed on the Skywrath Mage. So the Bounty Hunter is going to have to work with his slows here. Vengeful Spirit has rotated over, and she's just going to put one hit onto the Bounty Hunter. Not a whole lot done there. But the Vengeful Spirit rotating over means that the Bounty Hunter is not going to make Skywrath Mage's life as dangerous as we thought it might have been. So things calm down a little bit here against MangoGaming and 5th Band Tinker. Vengeful Spirit moves up against Tidehunter. Tidehunter has the Anchor Smash for bell. Here comes the Creep Wave. So that's kind of the bell that rings when that says that the Dire should stop going on the Tidehunter. Tidehunter is very low. He does need to be careful. Bounty scouts out a regen rune. And at the top lane, the Tidehunter about to go down. He will go down to the Vengeful Spirit, who used the Magic Missile and the Skywrath Slow to be able to kill him. Sentry Ward in the middle of the mid lane means that the Bounty Hunter is going to get scouted out. Now he knows that there's a Sentry Ward there, so he does have to be a little bit more careful. Tidehunter being very scary against the Spectre. He just took a bit too much damage there and wasn't very respectful of the damage that the Dire could have done there, and they ended up killing him. The Spectre does have to be careful around the Anchor Smash. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for her to last hit these creeps, and the Tidehunter can basically Anchor Smash all he wants. It'll push out the lane, but it'll also give him some XP that he needs. And gold.
You've been burned.
No mana shield being up for the Medusa as Lina throws out a Dragon Slave. The Darkseer is being kept out of quite a bit of XP at bottom. He's only level 2. Meanwhile, the Tidehunter is about a full level higher. So clearly this Darkseer having a difficult time at bot. Not nearly the lane he had in the last game. Surge is going to get the Darkseer out of trouble. He's had to be really cautious here. At the top lane, it's going to be another kill on the Tidehunter as the Dire will use basically all of their mana to be able to secure that kill. So 3 kills already for MangoGaming, and they are 2 on the Tidehunter, 1 on the Viper, who is doing okay in the mid lane. He's basically even with the Lina right now, so that's okay for him. And the important thing about these kills on the top lane is that it makes more space for the Spectre, who really wants to make sure that she can get the farm up early to kind of go against that Medusa, who's not doing too badly herself. She's getting the Ring of she does have Ring of Basilius right now, but she's got a bottle and brown boots, so she's not doing too badly for herself. Almost at level 6 right now. There's going to be a lot of mana going over to this bottom lane for the Darkseer. He's got his full soul ring completed, which if you buy the recipe right off the bat, you can buy right from the side shop, but he decides not to do that. Bounty Hunter ready to make a go onto the mid lane. He just takes the Zenyatta right now. And there's going to be a Lina illusion. I'm pretty sure they know which one is the real one. A snake goes through, it basically does a lot of damage to the creep wave and the illusion, but nothing to the real Lina, who is fairly low on mana. She's not been bottle crowing, she hasn't picked up a rune recently, so she's on very low health and mana. And there's going to be a pause by the Spectre. Okay, so here we go, back with the match. Medusa running up in the mid lane. She's doing okay right now. Now gotten the Stone Gaze, so she's not going to die a whole lot more. Now, like, once you get that Stone Gaze on the Medusa, it's very difficult for any team to go onto you, since if you both get slowed and you get the turn into stone if you continue to try to chase after the Medusa. So things are very difficult for you once you have to go against that. And this Lina isn't doing a good job of getting to the runes, which she really wants to. If she wants to get those bottle charges, which she really needs. Bounty Hunter getting scouted out on that top lane by the Spectre. He's got full mana basically right now. So he really should be, I mean, he's just here to get some experience. But he was, I mean, they know exactly where he is. And if they had detection, they could go after him. It's going to be a Phase Boots Medusa against an Arcane Boots Lina at top. The supports at top only have Sentry Wards right now, so they definitely can go against the Bounty Hunter if they have the Vengeful Spirit right there. And the Vengeful Spirit has actually gone over to mid. Just to slow onto the Bounty Hunter for now. And Tidehunter, almost level 6 right now, almost out of Ravage. He is just going to appear there. Vengeful Spirit ready to go onto the mid lane. Lina does not have enough mana for the Laguna Blade, so they do have to be careful of that. And she's not even going to go for it. She's just going to see that the Sentry Ward gets placed down in the mid lane, and that's going to be it. If this Lina were managing her mana a little bit better, they possibly could have gone for the Laguna Blade after all the mana was taken off of the Medusa. and they possibly could have gone for a kill. But she just keeps spamming out the wave, and that is not how you kill a Medusa. You need to make sure that you have your skills up for that one. If this bounty hunter gets into a bad spot, they can easily go for some stunts and slows. I mean, he's walking over. He's right next to the Vengeful Spirit. There's no ward here right now, and the Venge is out of detection, and actually he was right there. Yeah, he's going to turn around now. Maybe she's looking for the random deaths. Tidehunter does have the Ravage available. Just going to scout up some creeps right here. Lena is going to find a haste rune, and they haven't really taken care of this Viper at all. He is very low. She's probably just going to use our haste rune and look for a kill. She needs to get some more mana, so she gets enough for the Laguna Blade right now. There's going to be a courier coming in from the backside. I'm not sure if it scouted out the Lena, but here she comes. I'm going to scout out the Dazzle right here. She's just going to put the auto attacks there. And she is not getting any help from the rest of her team. The Darkseer is so far back at the tower. The Lena basically says, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. She just runs around for a while. Vengeful Spirit takes out the Bounty Hunter at the top lane. And where's Spectre? Spectre is back a little bit. Just farming the creeps still. 2,600 gold right now. This is probably going to be a straight Brown Boots Radiance run. So I think she might get it in about 15 minutes. And, well, take a look at this. This Lena is basically half health from one Mystic Snake. That's how annoying that spell can be. I mean, yeah, so damage increase per jump is 35%. I'm not sure what it does at max, but that's some pretty substantial damage for a level 4 spell less than 10 minutes into the game. And yeah, oh, that is basically a Skywrath mage that almost died there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Still, the Medusa stays at the top of the net worth board right now. Right now on the Ring of Aquila and Phase Boots, doing a lot of damage. She's actually over 100 without the split shot activated. And yeah, that is basically half of Lena's health getting taken out by one skill. That's just so annoying, to be honest. Lena shows that she knows that the Bounty Hunter is there by auto-attacking him once. So we've still got a pretty quiet match. These teams don't really like to go into each other too much. They're just very, I don't know, they want to be safe, they want to farm, they don't really want to kill each other too much. Take a look at the Spectre. She's at 3,100 gold right now. Very close to that relic. She doesn't want to die anytime soon. Bounty Hunter could have other thoughts about it. He is underneath the Sentry Ward, and there's still dust on the Vengeful Spirit. So, I mean, if they have any idea about going against the Bounty Hunter, like they can, he's still going to be here. He's going to back up a little bit, use his Invis. This Medusa always has to be careful, but she can put a lot of damage on the Lena if there are a lot of creeps there. Tidehunter's made his way over to the top lane. He's going to see a bunch of creeps here, and well, Skywrath Mage stands right next to him. There's going to be the Ravage, and they're going to go right for the Skywrath Mage, taking him out as Tidehunter puts down another Anchor Smash. Now there was a silence on the Bounty Hunter, but he is going to be completely safe here. At least the Spectre didn't go down, but that was probably not the best move for the Skywrath, because this Tidehunter has a level 3 Anchor Smash, and the Skywrath basically stood right next to the creeps. Lena takes out the Medusa on the mid lane, and this Medusa, and she was very low, I guess, and just a lot of damage from the Lena ended up taking her out. Still has that Laguna Blade, which is not something I would expect when a Medusa gets killed. It's going to be a silence onto the Tidehunter. He's just going to back up. There's not a whole lot they can do to kill him right now. Yeah, fairly quiet match right now. 5 kills to 1 right now. 12 minutes into the game. Not a whole lot happening. There's a double damage rune on the Bounty Hunter. I don't think he can kill the Darkseer right now. He has fairly high strength. and a lot of HP. There's going to be the LSA onto the Tidehunter. Here comes the dagger. Actually misses. Skywrath Mage almost goes down once again to the Anchor Smash, but he is going to stay alive if the Tidehunter just dies there. So that is just the offlaner getting beat up again by the Radiant.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Six kills to 13 minutes in the game. Lina currently at the top of the net worth chart. She's basically got her Yules built. And the Spectre has the Relic on the Courier, making her way back to the base. Level 8. She wants to get that Relic off the Courier real quick. There you go. Medusa really has to catch up on the farm. She is getting the Courier to go to the secret shop right now. We'll see what she's buying. I'm guessing a point booster.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know what she's gonna buy, but that Courier's just sitting there. Still in the secret shop, looking very happy. And it hasn't bought anything just yet, so I guess I'll just not care about it for a while. Bounty Hunter could get rotated upon in the top lane. There is a Sentry Ward blocking his exit. And behind the tower there is a Ravage. Let's see what he's doing. Alright, he's right on the CGM. CGM trying to escape through the trees. And the Tidehunter, he's going to eat, but he's not going to be able to get very far. And now the Tidehunter, he's very far into the trees. Bounty Hunter could come in from the back, but he hasn't got a track right here. So basically anything he does won't be very beneficial. There's going to be the Mystic Flare doing quite a bit of damage, and the Tidehunter will go down. Bounty Hunter is now stuck here. They're going to use the dust, and he's trying to take out his Vengeful Spirit. Not going to happen. That's 2 kills on the top lane, just way too deep there. 8 kills to 1 so far. And that's just putting more gold onto the Spectre. And that's exactly what you don't want to be doing when you're against a hero that just needs the farm as much as she does. Dazzle does put down a Radiant Observer ward on the high ground here. This is like my favorite ward. If you take a look at it, it's just a guy like sitting there, lounging around. That's one of my favorite wards in the game. Lina has finished up the Yule Scepter. Spectre continues to work towards the Radiance. And it's going to get spit at by the Tidehunter. That was a point booster that was on the Courier for Medusa. Medusa just trying to farm up as much as possible. Get to the, I guess, the Scotty first. And on the mid lane, Lina is going to use the Yule Scepter to try to get away from this one, but there is no escape. Nothing happens to save her, that is. And now there's going to be the Magma Missile onto the Tidehunter. Vengeful Spirit, the only one that seems interested in going for this. The Spectre once again decides that creeps are more important. And the Vengeful Spirit is just going absolutely ham against the Tidehunter. It's basically her against the Tidehunter, and now here comes the Bounty Hunter. Her team is going to pay for not helping her. More damage comes through with the Anchor Smash. And CGM, he is really not interested in helping his team at all. He was just saying, screw this. Sherry Toss comes through, and the Mystic Snake will make sure that Skywrath Mage goes down on the top lane. Here comes a vacuum onto the Tidehunter. Darkseer has found his way into this fight. CGM finally deciding that it's time to maybe do something with his life, but now the Viper's here, and Viper's trying to kill the Spectre. Going to slow her down with the Poison Touch, and that's going to force out another TP by the Lina. Or, sorry. Yep, the Lina's here. LSA comes through. It's not quite going to hit. Dragon Slave is going to do quite a bit of damage to the Tidehunter. Tidehunter has the Ravage. He's going to use it. And now the Lina very low. So is the Darkseer. She's going to Yule Scepter herself. Now there's going to be a Stone Gaze. Not quite going to be able to take down the Medusa. And, well, the only good thing about this fight right now is that the Spectre is alive. Vengeful Spirit trying to do everything she can to the Tidehunter, but that's basically nothing. MangoGaming are giving a bunch of kills here, and they just need to get out. I mean, basically, they're sticking around for too long. CJM is basically being useless. He's not doing anything to fight here. He needed to get out a long time ago. Maybe his team wouldn't be fighting so much. Now Skywrath's Mage is coming over. I mean, this is a 3,000 gold change fight for the Radiant, and there's also the Hood of Defiance on the Tidehunter. I mean, I don't even know what the Dire are doing here. And this was basically disaster for them. 3,200 gold on the Medusa, getting her even closer to that Scotty,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
if that's what she's going for. I mean, you never know. Generally, that is the build you see when there's a point booster first. But basically with that fight, what happened was the bounty hunter got his track up, and they got so many track kills in that fight that them staying there was so bad for the Dire. And through all of that, the Spectre wasn't farming, wasn't getting the Radiance, and now she's gone over to the bottom lane. So if anybody from the Radiant were to rotate over there, that would basically be a dead Spectre. Now here come the Radiant onto the mid lane. They want to take out the tier 1 tower here as well. A Light Striker right onto the Tidehunter. Darkseer hasn't gone for the wall just yet. The Magic Missile on the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter getting very low. The Vacuum will clean him up, so the Darkseer finds a kill onto the Bounty Hunter right there. They won't have any track kills for this one. Poison Touch goes on the Vengeful Spear. Vengeful Spear trying to get out of this one. And she will swap herself out onto the Dazzle. Now here comes the Stone Gaze from Medusa. It's going to turn Skywrath Mage into a statue. And now here they go right onto the Lina. Lina's going to go down in the mid lane to the Viper, and well, the Gloomy Tofu also trying to get his way out of this one, getting slowed down by the Viper.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I sneezed.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Spectre has gotten the Aegis recipe, now goes over to the side shop to pick up a TP and get back to base. So maybe we're going to see her be a little bit more effective in these fights, but she was just not helping her team out there for a period of about 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, at least she didn't die, but that was quite a bit of time. And it allowed the Medusa now to get the Scotty. She has enough gold for it in a couple of moments. So the Medusa is going to be very difficult to kill. The Spectre basically needs another item to be effective, and the Radiant are taking all the map control right now. And there's also the Pipe of Insight recipe on the Tidehunter, so this Lina is not going to do as much, as well as the Skywrath. I almost feel like with those couple of minutes, the Dire took their really good start, and they basically nullified it. Vengeful Spirit going to go down. Nice triple LSA by the Lina. And now here comes the Mystic Flare. It is not doing a whole lot. Now there's a big Ravage by the Tidehunter. They're going right onto the Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage trying to back up. He's not really going to be enough right now as the Skywrath Mage. He is going to put the damage onto the Tidehunter. Tidehunter forced to run away from this one, but here comes the Spectre back into it. Does take a kill onto the Tidehunter. Random Dragon Slave thrown back at the Spectre for some reason. And now here comes Lina. Lina does need to be careful. There is a Bounty Hunter here, put the track. And now she goes to the lower gun. Going to dodge that Shuri Toss with the Yule Scepter, and she will end up taking the Bounty Hunter with the Laguna Blade, but that's going to be it as the Viper turns right around and takes the Lina out. So now we have evened up the kill score, and the Medusa and Viper are at the top of the net worth chart. So this lead is basically evaporated for MangoGaming, and actually it really wasn't a lead at all, it was just a kill score lead. And the Medusa with the Scotty is going to definitely be a problem for MangoGaming now. Currently level 14, the Spectre is at level 11, Lina is at 13. And this Spectre really needs to do some farming to get back into this game. Tidehunter just farming up some maintenance. He's completed up the Pipe of Insight. I would imagine he's going to go for a Blink Dagger next. I really like this Pipe of Insight. I pick up on him right now. And again, MangoGaming go for... Well, there's going to be a Veil on the Skywrath Mage, which is pretty good for them. They're going on to the Spectre. They're just going to chase her away from the top lane. And they may even turn this into a tier 2 tower in the top lane if they want to go for it. Because the Dire aren't really in that good of a shape to fight right now. Dazzle has the Ring of Health and the Medallion of Courage. Bounty Hunter working towards the Vlads, I guess, with that. Yeah, he's going to get Vlads with the Morbid Mask. Interesting build up. He does have 2 melee heroes on his team. I mean, the Vlads helps him out quite a bit. Big stacks in the Dire jungle for heroes to be taking out. And there is, of course, Tidehunter scouting him out, making sure that the Radiant know exactly where the Dire are. Yeah, he's going to find the Spectre too, and Medusa is making her way over. There could be a Ravage soon. There's going to be the Ravage, and they're completely going to wipe up the Spectre. Spectre getting absolutely wrecked here. Magic Missile goes onto the Tidehunter. Tidehunter, he's going to run back to this one, into this one, gets an Anchor Smash, gets a double kill here. And now the Scotty going to slow down the Skywrath Mage. Even more Skywrath trying to get out of this one. It is not working very well. He's trying to get out, but he cannot get away from the Snake Lady. And one last hit from the Viper will mean that that Skywrath Mage goes down. 3 kills in the Dire Jungle, and it was just a very timely invisibility rune for the Tidehunter. I guess you could say it's a tidy rune for the Tidehunter. I think instead of looking for waves, the Tidehunter actually looks for clean clothes. That's why he's always looking for Tide. So now the Radiant are going to back up. They're not going to be too aggressive here. They're just going to back up and maybe take out the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Maybe take out Roshan. I mean, they have a lot of options they can go for here, and they definitely have the upper hands in these engagements. Big advantages for them. They're really trying to figure out what they can do. Medusa's just going to go into the bottom lane. Was going through mid a little bit. Lena possibly could have gotten the Yules there if she were a bit quicker. So 24 minutes into the game, and we are going to see the Radiant pushing in through bottom. They want to take down all of the outer towers, make sure that those are all taken care of. Right now the Spectre still on only a Radiance. I mean, she's finding it very difficult to get some farm on the map. I mean, that gank on her in the jungle really didn't help, and I mean, they were stacking a lot of creeps for her, and not being able to get those definitely hurts. So now here comes the push. Tidehunter leading the charge onto those creeps in the bottom lane. This tier 2 tower going to be taken out fairly quickly. There is going to be a Pipe of Insight being used. I probably would have saved that for the push onto the high ground, because I don't think that the Dire are willing to fight at all outside their base. They want every bit of time for their Spectre to farm, and I mean, right now 980 health isn't going to cut it. I mean, it's also the damage too, but right now the way it is if there's a Spectre on the map, you definitely want her to survive as long as possible. So health is one of those big things you want to go for. There's a Maelstrom now onto the Medusa. That'll help them pushing this in, and of course the Viper's gone for an ultimate orb into Manta style. So the Dire are going to try to hold their ground here on the high ground. They don't have a wall now. I mean, it's just sitting out there, right there. That's their wall. And it's going to expire soon. Basically, when it expires is when I would imagine that the Radiant are going to go in. So it's still delaying tactics right now as the Spectre tries to get some kind of farm. I'm guessing it's going to be a Vanguard that she needs to go for. And that could help her enough. Now the wall is going to expire, and up goes the Medusa to the high ground. It's going to be the Stone Gaze, as they really just want to go for the tower. The Spectre ultimate going to get used, and that's also going to lock her away from the base. So they may end up giving a tower up here. Spectre is TP back to the fountain, and that Mystic Flare and Silence onto the Viper basically did nothing. I mean, he was merely tickled, as he also used the mechanism there, so he lost very little health through all that, and he also has that corrosive skin. So the Skywrath Mage goes down, so does the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane, and I think we might just see all of these towers getting taken right now. Another wall is going to be in 20 seconds. Spectre is here with a hat on her head. She's going to find it very difficult to pick that Vanguard when she wants to. And look, they haven't even gotten through the mana of the Medusa. The Radiant do back up right now. They decide that with their, I don't know, like they still have all their spells. Maybe they decide they want to Roche. But honestly, they don't have to back up at all right now. There's very little that the Dire can do. Mjolnir is going to be on Medusa in a couple seconds. She's got the recipe being delivered to her on the courier. So they want to make sure that they're safe for this push. They're going to go for the Roshan. Remind you that MangoGaming did take game number 1 of this best of 2 set. Tidehunter going to put a ward on the high ground. Actually going to just take out the enemy ward too. Roshan about down. He will get taken out. And the Aegis goes over to Viper. I guess that'll help him out a little bit. I see that they probably want to push in through mid now. The top lane is pushed up all the way to the tower. I don't think they're too worried about that right now, though. They really just should try to end the game. XP and gold. above 10,000 for XP for the Radiant, and over 15,000 for gold. Dazzle will TP back over to the top lane, and also get the, what is this, Aether Lens from the courier. Lina a bit far out, going to get hit by the Zenyatta of the Bounty Hunter. Now Viper decides that he wants to go in there. There's going to be an LSA onto the Lina, but here comes the Mystic Snake, and one hit from the Medusa will take out the Lina there. 60 seconds on the sideline, does have buyback available, and they're just going to wait for the Dazzle to push out the top lane so that they can go for the Rex pretty easily. Honestly, at this point, I would probably go for the tier 3 tower in the mid lane if they're trying to do that. Especially because they have the Lina down, maybe force out a buyback. In any case, Viper's going to continue to push out through mid. Medusa goes over to top to just make sure that that is going to get to the base eventually. And the Dire must prepare for their defense. They've got a swap available. They have a vacuum into wall. They also have the Spectre, possibly, with a... does have a Vanguard. And Medusa has already made it over to the base. So she can go high ground if she wants to, but her team is not really around her. They probably want to be close to each other by the time they decide to go in. Now the Radiant, they want to get the split push here. So they're going to go for 2 towers at once. Most of the damage... Okay, now here comes Medusa. There's going to be a stun coming out. Silence onto the Dazzle. Might not be your best decision. Viper throws out the Mantis out to take out a couple of illusions here. And now the Radiant just rotate over to the top lane. They force Dire to concentrate their efforts on 2 fronts. And once that wall was used in mid, I mean, they can go into another one. Here comes the Stone Gaze, as well as the 4-man Ravage, just absolutely cleaning up the Dire side. There is literally nothing they can do about this one. There was a Laguna Blade onto the Bounty Hunter. He gets a Grave on top of him. Lina is going to buy back, so they took 4 down with that one, and they still have no wall to deal with it. 50, 100 gold change in favor of the Radiant here, and now they're going to go right on to Darkseer. Darkseer, he took so much damage from that Nether Toxin. Tidehunter even goes as far as to go into the base. Bounty Hunter gonna get cleaned up. Went a bit too far there. Medusa just knows what she wants. She's gonna go for the objectives. And also in the bottom lane, this ranged Rax will be taking the fall to the creeps. Spectre buys back, has the Haunt available. They could get back into this. Here comes the LSA on the Viper. Does hit him. He's taking a lot of damage here. There is going to be a Mjolnir here as well as a Grave as he's trying to survive. Silence onto the Tidehunter. He just wants to soak up as much damage as possible. Medusa puts herself into the sky. And now they go right on to Spectre. Spectre is going to go down to the gush of the Tidehunter, and now Tidehunter going to chase down the rest of the Dire. Vacuum back is going to put the Viper and Tidehunter together. Viper getting very low. He's got that mechanism as well as the Aegis available. I mean, he's basically got no chance of dying here. They go right and take another kill onto the Skywrath Mage, and this Spectre, remember that when she bought back? Yeah, she's dead again. Tier 3 tower in the mid lane about to go down. This will lead to the Mega Creeps. Lina has the Laguna Blade available, but the Viper also has that innate magic resistance. So this is probably going to be the end of the game here. Another wall comes through. 4-man vacuum, but at this point it might be a little bit too late. Viper will get taken out, but remember, that's just the Aegis. So the Aegis gets popped by Lina. And Viper is right back. He's going to use some Mantis Tower right away. Laguna Blade onto a bunch of people, the Medusa and the Viper as well as Illusions. And they just want to take down this Rax. The Medusa is all out of mana right now. She's just on her last legs, and she also doesn't have the Aegis. Melee Rax is going to go down, and that's going to be Mega Creeps for the Radiant. Dire trying to do everything they can to try to pull out the W in this one. 30 seconds still on the Ravage, so I'm not really sure why the Tidehunter is walking in here. Mystic Flare just going to do very minimal damage to the Tidehunter, and the Radiant have just backed up. They want to see if the Dire can defend from their Mega Creeps. Butterfly on the Medusa. Let's see what else she's got. Oh, she's just going to have the Butterfly being delivered to her by the courier. Viper is going for the Monkey King bar. And Soap is going to finish off the Solar Crest. Not really sure what the Radiant are waiting for. They probably just want to get some of their health and mana back. Darkseer is going to push up in the bottom lane. He wants to be careful, as here comes Medusa. Scotty right onto his back. He's going to be very slow, but he's going to use the Surge to try to get away, and he will. So if we take a look, here come the Mega Creeps down the lanes. We've got some in mid. We've got some at bottom. We've got some at top. So here they come. Radiant definitely want to coordinate their push here. Medusa has some mana here as well as the Stone Gaze. I mean, she's not gotten back to base, so she still is not doing too well in the mana and health department. And this could be the final push here. Medusa taking care of all of the creeps. Wants to go for those filler buildings. Vengeful Spirit possibly looking for a swap here. There's going to be a Viper Strike onto the Vengeful Spirit. And now this Viper gets absolutely wrecked, as well as Medusa. Forced to use the Stone Gaze, also going to get graved up by the Dazzle Dazzle. Doing the work here with the Graves, but Medusa is very low. She's going to make an illusion of herself, and she's going to take care of it. There's going to be the Blink and Ravage forward by Tidehunter on the 3. Skywrath Mage about to go down. He will, as does Lelina. And now we have basically no backpacks available from MangoGaming. They are going to call GG. That's going to be it, as the series gets split here 1-1 for 5th Band Tinker as well as MangoGaming. They each get a game out of this one, with 5th Band Tinker taking game number 2 of this best of 2 set. 26 kills to 14 in 33 minutes. Basically the opposite story of game 1. I mean, I guess it was a little bit close for the first part of the game, but as things went on, it was just one team got the advantage and couldn't handle the buyback. So in the end, that's going to be it. I enjoyed casting this Learn Dota 2 League match. Make sure you watch the VODs if you are interested in maybe learning a bit of something. Since I didn't have a co-caster for this one, maybe there isn't so much information, but it's probably definitely a good idea to watch yourselves play and to see if there's anything you can improve. However, for me, that's going to do it. I'm Pythian. Thank you once again for watching today. Follow me on Twitter at PythianLegume, on Twitch at twitch.tv/PythianLegume, and also check out all the other matches for the Learn Dota 2 Spring League, because they are pretty cool and definitely a lot of fun. For today, that's it. Stay classy, and as always, cheers.